No, sir. Actually,
Sir, for
today
this week,
that was
there are
torque was also there, sir. Tau equals pi alpha.
3 more topics
Tau-
to complete, sir.
3 more topics to complete. What are those topics? Can you say once again?
Torque is equals to I
energy also
alpha,
is there, sir.
applications of torque is equals to I alpha, work energy, that.
Work energy. Okay. Just do one thing.
Yes, sir. Again, work
Share-
energy also involved.
Can you share the that
Yes, sir,
screenshot
I
of
will
the
send in
syllabus?
Gmail.
Send in Gmail once, okay?
Yes.
You can send the complete syllabus so that I will keep it here now with me. If you are having complete syllabus, you can send the complete syllabus also. Are you sending?
Sir, I started recording, sir.
Who started recording?
Sundar.
Okay, Sundar started recording. Fine. Anu, I am asking you, have you sent that Gmail or not? Just say send it once for the complete syllabus. Not for this week only. You send the complete syllabus. This week also I will see from there.
Once check, sir. Sir, I sent now, sir.
Oh, no, you sent? Okay, let me check once. I think it which mail? Vineet Guleria or with one in between?
Sir, not one, sir.
Without one. Okay. Yes, I got it. All right. I think I did not get it. You did not give me. You just sent. Is there any PDF here? There is no PDF here.
Sir, as file is more than 25 MB, it is not.
File is more than 25 MB.
Yes, something like that. Some text and all coming, and they're saying it is unable to transfer.
We are unable to send, sir.
So we can send in WhatsApp, no, sir, directly in group. Can you access that?
WhatsApp I cannot access here. That is the problem. WhatsApp okay. Then you give me this week's syllabus only. No problem. Just give the screenshot
Okay,
of this
sir.
week's syllabus and
I will
send.
yes. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Sir, once tell me the email. I have been in Google Drive, so I'll send it, sir.
Hi. Then you send VINWT GULERIA.
Okay, sir.
Okay, let me start also because we have a lot of things to cover. So I will start screen sharing. Right.
Sir, once check again, sir. Now I have sent.
Let me check. Yes, I got it something. Let me see once. This is only for this week, huh? Right. Moment of inertia. Exclude conservation of angular momentum, rolling and toppling problems. What we have to include? We have to include tau equal to alpha derivation, and derivation I did yesterday only. Application of tau equal to alpha, okay, including pulley and block problems. Calculation of kinetic energy of the rigid body. Kinetic energy of rigid body, you know, in a pure fixed axis rotation only. Work energy theorem related to, okay, understood. Not much. Okay, we will do it easily today. We will finish it. We'll do tau equal to alpha also today. So let us start. Can you see the screen?
Yes, sir, we can see, sir.
All right. Let us continue then. So tau equal to alpha, I have told you yesterday, right? I told you the example where the body was just rotating in one plane. Plane of rotation is fixed. Then we are writing this tau is equal to alpha. Okay. Next we have cases, some cases. Okay, one more important thing for moment of inertia only. I have to tell you, I think that will be very much helpful for you in many places. Let us say I want to find out the moment of inertia of a triangle. Then I think you already know the formula for that.
Send out the
Yes.
total syllabus.
square by 2.
About what, sir?
About any axis. It means about any axis you should be able to find out by a very simple trick. That trick is like this. Although there's a proof of this trick, but I'm not going to the proof. I will just tell you how it what is the trick that is enough for you. Let us say these three the total mass of this is capital M. Let us say total mass is capital M. What I will do, I will take masses at the center, m by 3 each, m by 3 at the center of one length, center of the other length, and center of the third length. The moment of inertia of this triangular plate about any axis will be same as moment of inertia of this m by 3, m by 3, m by 3 about any axis. You can keep on finding out now, and you can keep on experimenting with this. For example, I want to find out this base. If I want to find out about the base, then I know it is a midpoint here. This is midpoint. This is also midpoint here. If it is midpoint, then we know the line joining the midpoints will be parallel to the this axis about which we want to find out, and it will divide the altitude. It will divide the altitude into two equal parts, right or not? So it will be h by 2 here. And what are we getting? We are getting m by 3 into h by 2 square whole into 2. What is that? mh square by 6. We got that only or not?
Yes, sir.
And it is helpful now about this. Let us say I want to find out about this axis. First axis, second axis. About the second axis, let us call it I1. About second axis, let us call it I2. I2 will be equal to, again, same way. Now, because of these two masses at this place, from here also distance is h by 2 only, then we will get same value, m into h square by 6, plus additionally due to the other mass left,
Square, sir.
plus m by 3 into h square, which is equal to m into h square by 2. Is it right or not? Okay. Let us say I want to find out about perpendicular axis. Let us say I want to find out about the perpendicular axis here. About this axis, if I want to find here, then I know here I have to take, then I can take into two triangles, or I think without taking into two triangles also it is possible, because of this reason that now I know what is the distance from here, what is the distance from here, and what is the distance from here. If I know these three distances, then I can get directly. If now it depends what data they have given. If I know the distance up to the midpoint, and up to this midpoint here, then directly I can get, it will be whatever it is, L1, L2, L3, these are given, then I can write M1 into L1 square. We can do, right? And it will always work about any axis. In the inverse, we can always find it out very easily. So it is very convenient, very helpful. And don't forget that formula. That also might be helpful if they are asking for oblique axis. I told you to find out about oblique axis. First of all, we should know two symmetric axis. If I know about this axis and about this axis in the same plane as this axis, they are asking about this axis, and I know, let us say this is that axis, let us say the perpendicular axis, it is x-axis. They are asking about this, and it is angle alpha, and it is 90 minus alpha. Then I have told you this formula also, how to find out about this oblique axis. Ix cos square alpha plus Iz sin square alpha.
Science.
So these will be helpful for you. And okay, in fact, I think triangle formula, once you know by this simple method, then this triangle formula you can use to derive other formula also. For example, let's say I want to derive for the circle. For circle also, I think I can do something to derive in for the triangle. I will take maybe some small element here, and for this triangle, I will break it into small triangles. And for each small triangle of dm mass, of each triangle of dm mass, I will write dm by 3 here, and I will write dm by 3 here and dm by 3 here. So here it will be 2 dm by 3. At which place? At a distance r by 2 from here, right? R by 2 distance away, what it will be? 2 into dm by 3. Then I will find out its moment of inertia. What will be its moment of inertia? It will become 2 into dm by 3 into r by 2 square plus dm by 3 into the total distance up to this.
R square.
That is r square. So
R
what is
square.
that coming out to be? That is coming out to be dm into r square by 6 plus r square by 3, that is by 2. Now this is for dm. Now once we know for the sector, then we know total will also become r square by 2 common, r square by 2 common, mr square by 2
mr square by 2, sir.
Because we are finding about this axis, about the perpendicular axis.
Sir,
About the perpendicular axis I am finding out. Okay. So see how easily we can get the things here.
we
Or we
divide
can
into
think-
triangles and
Yes, we divide into triangle and we can do for this also. So this triangle only applicable for the triangular plates of uniform mass density. So there it will be helpful. But if they give us variable mass density, then such tricks will not work. We have to find out by normal ways only. Anyway, let us come to application of tau equal to I alpha. Application of tau equal to I alpha. Application of tau equal to I alpha. So its application, what application I can take for this? One, I can take very simple, starting from simple pulley problem that there I will start, and then after that I will move on to other problems. Pulley has two hanging strings. One string here and another here. These two strings are there, and these strings are also attached to two masses under it. One mass here, one mass here, and this is attached to the ceiling with this way. Now it is free to rotate about the sufficient friction is there. First of all, the data given is information given is sufficient friction between pulley surface and string. One thing given. Second, free to rotate about axis passing through. Okay, it is free to rotate about its axis, and the pulley is free to rotate about its axis. Second information given. Remaining mass is m1, m2 given, and its moment of inertia about O point is given. So m1 is given, m2 is given, and I about O point is given. Third information given. What we want to find out, acceleration. I told you, and radius of pulley is also given. Radius of the pulley is given as r. I told you yesterday that what I can do here, I can take it as r, then I can say it is going up with, let us m2 is bigger mass. If m2 is bigger, then it will have angular acceleration in which direction? Start with angular acceleration first. Always start with angular acceleration. It will be more convenient. So it will be r into alpha upwards for this also, because these are this is a single string. So here acceleration and here acceleration will be same. Here acceleration down and here acceleration down will be same. So therefore here also it will be r alpha. Is it okay?
Yes, sir.
Then now other equation we can write, which is for m2g downward
Tensions we can write, yes.
m1g, m2g, that it is. And in between here tension T this side, tension T this side, but here tension T down and here tension T down.
Tensions will be equal on it, sir.
Tension will different, no, sir?
Different T1.
Otherwise,
Obviously.
it won't rotate.
Yes, otherwise it won't rotate. Sorry.
Yes, sir.
That is one big thing when this friction, I told
Friction
you
is present.
in laws of motion also, I told you that when friction will come, then definitely tension we should not take same. We should take different tensions. Okay, otherwise it will not rotate. So we can write m2g minus T2 supporting force. Always go by this method. R alpha is downside, so supporting first, then opposing. Minus opposing force is equal to mass into acceleration. This is the equation. Next equation. T1 supporting force minus m1g is equal to m1 into r alpha 1 number 2. These are translatory motion equations. These are equations of sigma f is equal to sigma mi ai type. Although here there is no sigma, it is a single f and no 2 f's. So it is like
Resultant force.
it is like this here, that sigma not no need for here. Here just mi into ai or m into a. M into a is enough. This kind of equation we are writing here. Anyway, now one thing here, because I have to take the torque equation for the pulley, so I recommend that to convert it also into that form. How to convert in that form? Multiply by r in all direction, in all places. If I multiply equation 1 by r, if I multiply equation 1 by r and I multiply equation the right hand side also by r, then I will be getting r into this thing, and here also r into this thing. It will become r square. Right? This I have to do.
Yes, sir.
So let me do it with different colors in order to clarify that this comes later on. First of all, we were writing simple fourth equation only. This is coming later on. R here, R here. Similarly, here also R multiplied here and R multiplied here, right? So actually these are otherwise force equations only, but we will do this thing with them. Now we will write the equation for the pulley. Sigma tau is equal to I alpha. What is the net torque acting on it? One torque which is supporting, again, supporting torque is because of T2. That is supporting the angular acceleration. You remember?
Yes,
so
sir.
This is in the
Alpha is in
direction
that
of
direction.
but this is opposing. So T2 into R will be supporting and
T2
T1
minus
into R will
T1
be
into R.
right. So T2 into R supporting minus opposing minus T1 into R is equal to moment of inertia about 0.0, which is given IO into alpha, our third equation. Now, because why I did that multiplication of R with this, now you can understand, because it will help us minus T2 into R here plus T1 into
Indirectly
R.
you can write, sir.
When we add now adding 1, 2 and 3, our T2 terms etc. will cancel, T1, T2 terms will cancel. Then we will be left with M2G minus
M1G into R
whole multiplied by R
equals to I
equals to
into alpha.
is equals to M1 plus M2 into R square
R
alpha.
square plus M1 into R square plus I naught also.
Yes, sir. Plus I naught into alpha.
So it is like that only, that net torque is equal to net moment of inertia into alpha. Now, obviously, the moment of inertia does not make sense for which masses? For these masses, because these are not rotating about. These masses are not rotating about not rotating about pulley. But still, this formula works. Why it works? If you want to remember why it works, I have a simple way to tell you how it works. Imagine that we know that this thing will not depend on the length of the string. If you know it does not depend on the length of the string, means I can take the length of the string so small that I can keep this, and I can make the masses point masses. M2 and M1 I can make like point masses. And I can make this string smaller length. I can assume string is of this much length. Then I can assume it is even lesser length. Then I can assume it is so much small length, then it is just almost touching here only. Then it will be like M2 touch, M1 touching here. Sorry, then it is like M2 touching here, and it is like M1 touching here. Then these two torque will be acting, and moment of inertia. Now it will be like a single body which has moment of inertia not only I naught but also M2 R square and M1 R square. So that's why this is just a way to remember. I'm telling you that we can see that the net torque is coming out to be I into alpha. We can think in that. Means our answer will be same. If I give you this problem, pulley, and here point mass attached here, fixed to it. Point mass is just fixed to it here and fixed to it here. And these masses are given to us as M1 here and M2 here. And this is I naught for the pulley. Remaining pulley I naught, remaining part means other than M1 and M2. That is not included in this. M1G is separate here, M2G separate here. Then the torque, we can write M2G minus M1G into R, the torque. M2G into R, one side torque, and the other side torque is minus of that. So, minus of M1G into R. Then this is equal to I naught plus. Now, because M2 is also net moment of inertia itself will be I1 plus M1 R square plus M2 R square. That is a net moment of inertia. Due to point masses also we have to take moment of inertia into alpha. Understood now? But what is the difference in these two cases? Difference is that only at this particular instant, these cases are similar, only at the initial instant. But soon this mass will come to this side and this will go to that side. Then it is a different situation now. This mass will just keep on moving. Then it will be, so it is equivalent only for just initial stage. When they are asking angular acceleration, at that time, initially only they are asking angular acceleration. They are not asking what is angular acceleration after some time. If they ask this thing, what is angular acceleration after some time t, then here answer will remain same. It will not change. It will remain same. But here it will change because then M2G will come this side, M1G will come this side, torque will be becoming different, and moment of inertia will be becoming different. So these two are equivalent only in the initial stage. But even if you remember that, then it will be convenient. Why it is convenient? Because in one step we are getting answer. Just we don't have to write all these equations also. Just net torque is equal to mass into moment of inertia into angular acceleration. All right. Let me give one more example with a spool.
I naught.
with the spool, I will give example now. Spool means I have given you before, I think 3D diagram of the spool. That's something like this. It will be
Yes,
in between
inside
there.
one more will be.
In between some connecting cylindrical rod will be there, something like that. And now let us say,
sir.
let us say we are attaching it to the ceiling. So this diagram, this complete diagram, we can simply, this is one circle here and another circle here. Inner circle of radius R1 and outer circle of radius R2. This inner circle is because of cylinder. But we will just make its diagram simplified in this way. This way. This is a string attached here. These are two strings are there. Imagine these are those two strings attached to the cylinder. No, basically not like this here. Basically, this is slightly different here. And okay, sorry. That case was different. Okay, first let me take this I will draw separate again. This is not the diagram for this. This diagram is something if you want to see. Imagine it is a one pulley and with that another attached pulley. The two attached pulleys are there, and along the axis somewhere we are connecting this. Maybe by this way we are connecting. There are again maybe two such rods which are connected to the axis of this. Imagine like that, and this is rotating about the axis. Means you can imagine this way. This is one rod, this is another rod here. Some vertical suspensions, and this is connected to one rod. And around it there are two. There is one pulley only, but that one pulley has means inner cylindrical part coming out of it. Imagine like that, and that is rotating about this. Imagine this is the situation here. Can you imagine it now? Okay. This diagram will be different. I will draw. This was a different thing, but now for this, because it is wound around it, so for this I have to draw something like this. That is a different scenario. But here it is attached to the axis here, and this this rod is passing through the axis, and around it we have some this cylindrical pulleys. It is single pulley only, but those single pulley has two different radii. Means it has one coming out.
Radii is this.
Inner is also there. That is coming out of it. Okay. Now, in this we can attach masses in this way also. That one mass I can attach to the inner side and other I can attach to the outer side. That is also possible. So let us do that. And I will ask you this question. You have to answer it. One is attached here. Wait a second. Sorry. This is one. And other one is outside. This is other one. Left hand side mass is M1 and right hand side mass is M2. Start solving it. A moment of inertia of this complete spool or this pulley is given as I0. I0 about O point. Again, same conditions, frictionless inside. Axis is completely frictionless, but surface has some. Radius is also given. Inner radius you take as what you want to take R1, and outer you take as R2. This mass you take as M1 and M2. How to do? Same way, net torque. What is the torque now? Which side is more torque? I don't know. Assuming M2 side is more, assuming it is accelerating this side, then again M2G into, but from the distance is changing now, it is R2. M2G into R2 minus M1G into R1 is equal to moment of inertia about the center of the pulley plus for M2, if I assume M2 is that that trick that I will assume M2 to be attached here, and I will assume
M2G R2 square plus M1G R1 square plus
not G, M2 into
R2 square.
R2 square
so
plus
G
M1 into R1 square. What do you want me to find out? Alpha only. So alpha we are getting, yes, we are getting M2G into R2 minus M1G into R1 upon I0 plus M2 into R2 square plus M1 into R1. This way we can quickly get answer in one step only. Okay. This is our answer. This is angular acceleration alpha. Now, if somebody is asking, no, I don't want alpha, I want accelerations, then also I don't.
Equation minute.
I recommend you to do this way only. After that, you just write it as R1 alpha acceleration, and this is R2 alpha acceleration downwards, because this point has R2 alpha downwards acceleration as it is rotating about it with angular acceleration alpha, and this is like a circular motion. For circular motion, tangential acceleration will be R2 alpha. Here, tangential acceleration will be R1 alpha. So it is simple only.
R1.
We can find tensions.
So we can find it out easily. Is it right or not?
Right on.
We can do it.
Yes, sir.
Now, some other examples, slightly more difficult than this ones. We can think of one common example which comes to my mind is maybe of string. Or before string, okay, string also I can take, right? That is correct. I can take for this. Sorry. These are two walls. These diagrams are. Now, this is mass m. And I think you can see from the diagram also that it will, let us say frictionless surfaces, mu is zero everywhere, frictionless surfaces. And another question also I will take after this. In fact, I will take from maybe Pathfinder also after, just when this is finished, I will take from Pathfinder. There are so many questions and all are nice. This one is a disk, and it is rotating with angular speed omega, and then it is kept on a rough, just placed gently on a rough surface. It was rotating with angular velocity omega, and then it is just placed gently on rough surface, and then we have to find out when does it stop, after what time does it stop. After what time does it stop? So it is just placed gently on rough surface.
So we'll do this question first, sir.
It will do the upper one. First upper one is we have to find out the what you should find, angular acceleration maybe. Can you find out the angular acceleration for this, for the upper one? And another question also I can ask, very simple question. Means although it may not appear that simple in the beginning, but yes, this is easy only. This is, let us say, force applied on it, and it is just kept on top view, and this system is kept on frictionless. System kept on frictionless horizontal surface. System is kept on frictionless horizontal surface. So this one we have to, mass is m, length is l. We have to find out again angular acceleration. Find out the angular acceleration. Energy also I have to take, just keep in mind. After this, after moment of inertia will be finished, then I will start taking questions of energy. First, let us do some more questions on this only. This is mg at the center, it is uniform rod, and l is the length, and if you want theta angle, etc., that is given to you. Find out the angular acceleration here. What is angular acceleration? Of first case, second case, and in third case, I'm asking time, but if you know angular acceleration, I think time also can be obtained, not rate of task. Initially, it was rotating with angular velocity omega. Mass is given m and radius is given r. Start from the first question.
Second case, F into L.
In second case, F into L will be torque, but one thing here. About which point you are taking the torque, and why have you chosen that point?
End point.
Why are you taking about a point here, torque? What is the reason for that? Why you want to take about this point?
It will topple on the
It
If you want, no, first of all, what toppling? It is kept on a
No.
frictionless surface.
Here that is.
It is lying on a frictionless horizontal surface. It is lying on it. It is a top view of it, and it is just a lying on the horizontal surface. How will it topple? Huh? You're not understanding it. A stick lying on the ground already, then how will it? If some stick is standing on the ground, then it will topple. It is already lying on the ground. Hello.
Yes, sir. Sir.
Yes, sir.
So if it is already lying on the ground, then it cannot topple, obviously, but it will have some angular acceleration. So to find angular acceleration in such cases, where it has no such axis about which it is rotating, then what to do? Then in that case, we can just take a
And
point,
the point.
center of mass we can take in that case, when it is not rotating about any fixed axis. Then we can take about center mass. Why should I take about A also? Is there any problem? No problem. But then it's unfortunate. Then I will have to take pseudo force torque. But if I take about center mass, then pseudo force torque will become 0 because MA passes to center mass. Therefore, in such cases,
same axis.
in such cases, it is recommended to take about center mass. But whenever there is a fixed axis of rotation, this axis, then no need to find center mass. Where is the center mass? I don't even know. But I'm just finding out the torque about this point here. Whether it is center mass or not, I don't care. So when we have a fixed axis already, then we will take the torque about that. It will be convenient. But when we don't have fixed axis, then which will be convenient point? Point convenient will be center of mass. That will be convenient point. Can I find about this? Yes, but I have to take additionally the torque due to pseudo force also. So I want to avoid that as far as possible. But in some cases, when it is not avoidable, then no problem. I'm not saying that we cannot take about it. But we are just trying to find out which is easier thing to do. Easier thing here will be to taking torque about center mass and start solving it. Okay, that is easier approach. What about this one? This one, let us think in different ways. It is N1, it is N2, and I want to find
There
out.
also it's center of mass we can take.
If I take about center of mass, then I will get relation between N1 and N2, I think, in one equation.
Yes, sir.
And how to get, but still, I need one more equation, I think. Otherwise, I will not get answer because there are two unknowns. No, three unknowns. Alpha is
N1 equals to N2 equal to mg we can take. Force
N2
balance.
is not mg. And how is his boy saying N2 is mg? Really, is it at rest? Is this body at rest so that you are saying N2 is equal to mg?
sir,
Really?
no, sir.
It will be accelerating and you are saying it is mg. And how will it be accelerating? How will the center of mass be moving? I have discussed it before during circular motion that it will be moving in this way. And I gave you reason why. Because most students will think it will move this way, but it will not move this way. Center of mass will move in what way? Center of mass will move in this way, in this path. Why it will move in this path? Reason is, if I take a rectangle here, and this is the diagonal of the rectangle, this is one diagonal of the rectangle. This diagonal of the rectangle will be always at same distance from the origin. Why? Because we know this length, these two diagonals are equal. One diagonal length is L by one diagonal length is L, other diagonal length will also be L, and it is the midpoint of the diagonal. So it will be L by 2 length. So this center mass will always remain from here at what distance? Always L by 2 distance. If it remains always at a fixed distance, then the path followed by it cannot be any other path. It cannot be this path. In this path, the distance decreases. It has to be circular path. It has to be circular path. What kind of path it will follow about the center? It will follow a circular path. That is the path. But once it is following the circular path, we know that it has what kind of acceleration possible? Tangential and centripetal. But remember one thing, centripetal acceleration in this case is definitely 0. Reason? Centripetal acceleration depends on omega. Initially, I said initially released, this system is just
Omega equals to G.
RELESEA. What is the spelling of release?
Something.
EACD, sir.
RELEASED. It is just released. When it is just released, in that case, omega will be not there. If omega is not there, then omega square r etc. those terms will also be 0. Then centripetal components will be 0. Then which component will remain only for this? So when it is moving in this path, only tangent will remain, but the centripetal component will become 0. No component towards the center. This is the center, by the way. No component towards this side. Only tangential acceleration. If it has only tangential acceleration, and I know this is the direction of that acceleration, then I think by knowing the tangential acceleration and by knowing the distance from the instantaneous center of rotation, which is this, that way also we can find. This is the center of path about which this body is rotating, but this is the instantaneous center of rotation here. This is the instantaneous center of rotation. So about this point, I can find out the angular acceleration in this direction. We can find it out. It is not a tough task to do. But to find it out now, or how to find out the tangential acceleration, by the way? Can you find out the tangential acceleration? Tangential acceleration we can find out by writing the, I think, force equations along x and along y. No, then will also not possible. There are how many unknowns? N1 unknown, N2 unknown, and AC 3 unknowns. So I need third equation definitely. I think so. Otherwise, I cannot get answer. I need that third equation also. Or can I get? I think I can get maybe. This is tangential acceleration, then vertical. No, I need that third equation definitely. So I can do this way also. This is the point here about which this body is rotating. So I can find out that tangential acceleration is just L by 2 into alpha about this point. Once I know this tangential acceleration is L by 2 into alpha, and torque about this point is due to N1 0 due to N2 0, because it is passing through, these two are passing through this point. Then due to which point there is a torque? Due to mg there is a torque. What is torque due to mg?
Sin theta.
Due to mg, torque is mg into L by 2 cos theta about this point. See, due to mg, what is the perpendicular distance about this point here? First of all, do you know which point I'm drawing here? If I take this line, extend this line, and I extend this line, then this line where these are meeting, that point is instantaneous center of rotation. Why it is instantaneous center of rotation? I told you how to find instantaneous center of rotation before, I think. Velocity this side, v1, v2. By taking perpendicular to velocities, we will get radial lines, and where radial lines meet, obviously that has to be center of rotation.
Instantaneous action. Yes.
This is instantaneous center of rotation of this rod. I'm not saying that it is a rotation, it's a point about which the center of mass is rotating. That point I already told you, that is the origin about which the center of mass is rotating. It is instantaneous center of rotation of the whole rigid body. Means at this instant of time, this whole rigid body appears to be rotating about this point, about point P. At this instant of time, the whole body appears to be rotating about point P, okay, including the center of mass also. So this instant, it is rotating about this point, and then what do we get now? Well, then torque equation about this due to N1 0 due to N2 0. What is the torque about due to mg? Due to mg, it is coming out to be
2 cos theta.
mg L by 2 cos theta.
Cos theta.
Mg into L by 2 cos theta, right? Because the perpendicular distance from here to here is, this is L by 2 cos theta, right? Because it is equal to this. This is this, and then that is mg into L by 2 cos theta. Once I know that torque, then torque is equal to moment of inertia about P point into alpha, and moment of inertia about P point is very easy to determine. Why it is very easy to determine? Because using parallel axis theorem, we can.
ml square by 12 plus.
We can so just do it once. Determine it once. Do one and do two. I'm giving you some time to do both of these two, and then after that I will take third one myself.
Oh.
empty class.
Why not speaking?
एक बात सुन ले, पहले मेरी बात सुन ले। जब मेरी क्लास ओवर होगी तो तेरे को मेरे पास आना पड़ेगा, सुनाई दिया? फिर मत बोलना। मैंने जो बोला है वो होगा, फिर तू बोला तू नहीं है। बंद करता हूँ मेरा। मानेगा पहले मेरी बात? मानने पड़ेगी मेरी बात, नहीं मानेगा तो बंद कर दूंगा अभी। मानेगा ना? यस, से यस। ओके।
अगर मैं कॉपी तो देखना ना तो फिर वो नहीं खत्म होगा।
सब चुप बैठ जाओ, हम ज्यादा मिस करते हैं।
Sir, I have a doubt, sir.
Yes.
Before you said one problem, no, sir. Force is applied on the rod. We need to take it is rotating about center of mass. Sir, if you take about the endpoint, another endpoint, there also pseudo force action, sir.
Yes.
And if you take
Always
delta as the axis of rotation, if you take delta as the
Then
axis
also
of
it will be
rotation,
acting.
then torque due to that force, will also be zero,
Pseudo
no,
force.
sir, about that point.
Pseudo force always passes through center of mass.
Torque
If you are
due to
already
pseudo
applying
force
force
will
at
be
center of
zero.
mass, then obviously torque due to pseudo force will be zero only about center of mass. Only about center of mass. Because pseudo force passes through center of mass.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Got answers.
For both of the above
Yes, sir.
questions.
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
let us see the first one then. Let us see the first one. In first one, this is our instantaneous center of rotation. One option about center of mass also I can take, but it is convenient if I take about center of rotation. Whenever we can find it easily, we should take about that. The torque about P point is equal to I about P point into alpha. That is finally mg into L by 2 cos theta. Reason is the perpendicular distance of this is the line of this is the line of mg, and the perpendicular distance up to P point of the line of mg is L by 2 cos theta. Why it is L by 2 cos theta? Because this distance happens to be equal to this distance, and this is easy to tell here that it is L by 2, so it is L by 2 cos theta. This is equal to moment of inertia about P point will be ICM plus m
L square
d
by 2.
square into alpha. What is d here? Now let us
L by 2.
L by
join
2 cot theta, sir.
L by 2.
L by 2
this
cot theta.
this
L by 2.
this length will be L by 2.
Yes, sir.
This length will be L by 2.
L by
And
2.
ICM, we know ICM is equal to, about which axis I should take here? About which axis? Perpendicular axis or in the same plane axis? I have to take perpendicular axis. Why so? Because it is rotating about this axis. It is rotating in this plane. If it the plane of rotation and axis is perpendicular to each other. Here the plane of rotation is this XY plane is the plane of rotation. If XY plane is the plane of rotation, then Z axis will be the axis of rotation. So I have to take perpendicular axis passing through the center of mass here like this. If it is passing to center mass in this way, dot, then that will be equal to ml square by 12.
ML
ml square by 12 plus ml square by
4.
into alpha
Yes, sir.
is equal to mg into L by 2
and
cos theta.
Alpha
So
equals
alpha is equal to
Square by
3g by 2l into cos theta.
yes, sir.
3
G by 2l. 3g by 2l into cos theta, sir.
no, sir, in denominator cos. No, sir, correct.
correct only.
Yes, sir.
So this is what we are getting. Next,
Sir, 1 minute. One. Sir, there how L by 2 is the center of mass and P.
it is a rectangle. Oh my God, rectangle that I explained in the beginning. Only it is a rectangle here and it is a diagonal. This is diagonal. Diagonals will be bisect. This will be equal parts.
Yes, sir.
It is L length. It is L length. This is also L length. This is L by 2. This is L by 2. So this other is also L by 2. Okay or not?
Symmetry, yes.
It's a rectangle. This property of rectangle, basic property, you should be knowing this. Fundamental property of rectangle. And I explained also, I'm not just directly telling it before I explained that thing only. That for the rectangle. Oh, what's happening here? For any rectangle, this length and this length will be
Be same and
equal.
it will be bisected.
It will be bisected. This will be equal. All are equal. And one more thing about center of mass. This moment of inertia, which I have told you here, that moment of inertia is moment of inertia at any point on this circle. The moment of inertia which I told you, that is valid for any point on the circle. Why? Because all the points on the circle are equidistant from it. As long as the distance remains the same, then moment of inertia about any point on this circle, here. If I take a rod here, this is the rod, and I want to find moment of inertia of this rod, then that will be same at any point. Whether I take here point or here or here or here or here, because all these are equidistant from the center.
Equidistant. D is same.
Okay, so as long as D remains same, then moment of inertia continues to be same.
On
So-
circle, every point is same.
On circle, every point is equidistant from the center mass. This thing will be valid in general for any body. For any body, if I know the center mass and I take circles around it, then the moment of inertia of the body about axis passing through those circles, but perpendicular to the circumference, passing through circle perpendicular circumference means into the plane, then moment of inertia about all those will be exactly same.
Same.
Yeah, those will be same, right?
Sir, one
Yes.
L by 2 cos theta came.
L by 2 cos theta, how it came? This is L by 2 cos theta.
Yes, sir.
Perpendicular distance.
So perpendicular distance is L by 2 cos theta only. This is equal to that or not?
Yes, sir.
Equal.
These are equal. So it is also L by 2 cos theta. Anything else? Why are you asking this thing? Don't you know that this is triangle and this will be L by 2 cos theta only? Angle theta is here, then it is right angle triangle. Means how many times we have done such things before?
Sir, how can we say that P point is in Z axis in the Z plane?
P point is not in Z plane. It is a point. It will be in any. What you mean by P point is in Z plane? First of all, Z is not a plane. That is axis. You mean to say why I am taking moment of inertia about Z axis? That is what you are asking. If
Yes,
you want
sir.
to
Please
ask, I gave you the reason for that before only, that here plane of rotation of this body, it is in XY plane. The body is rotating in XY plane. Then axis has to be perpendicular to the plane of rotation. Axis does not lie in the plane of rotation.
Okay, sir.
Axis is perpendicular to the plane of rotation. If the points on the body, this point has velocity this side, this has velocity this side, then we know this is the point about which this body is rotating. But in which plane it is rotating? It is rotating in the same plane. Then axis will not be in the same plane. If axis is in this plane, then it will be rotating all perpendicular to that axis.
Okay,
That means it will, plane of rotation will always be perpendicular to the axis of rotation. Understand it?
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Okay, sir.
Any other thing? I have seen in some places questions they ask like this: that moment of inertia. For example, this is the I'm giving a curve here like this, some complicated curve, and I'm not giving this thing also. What is this thing? This curve has, let us say, from one point, if I start taking from this point, if I'm going at a distance x along the curve, or maybe it will be a straight line, it would be a straight line also, and from one point I'm going at a distance x along the straight line, and I'm telling you that moment of inertia varies as a function of x by some function. I will be giving you maybe 3x square minus 2x minus 1. Maybe it is varying like this. Has it some roots or not? No, not like this. Maybe, okay, wait a second. Let me take another function. Maybe it is varying in this way: x minus 2 whole square plus 4. That is the moment of inertia about at any point on the x. Then you tell me, what is the location of center of mass of the body? There's a body, any body, I don't know what body that is, but for that body, moment of inertia, how it varies as a function of x, where x is the distance covered along a line. Means if I'm at a distance x somewhere from this point, then I'm noticing that moment of inertia is given about that point as ix for this body, whatever that body may be. But I can still locate the center of mass by this information. How to locate the center of mass by this local information? Because I know moment of inertia about center of mass is minimum possible. And here minimum possible value is when this term becomes 0 for x equal to 2. Therefore, for x equal to 2, I will be getting this value 4. Then that should be equal to ICM. ICM is equal to 4 here. Understood?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So even if we don't know what is the
Yes.
shape of body, what kind of body that is this body, let us say. And this is a straight line given. And they are asking what is the location of center of mass of the body. And this is 1 point given. And from that point, they are saying that I'm giving you moment of inertia, how it varies along the x-axis as we move along the x-axis. And let us say this line passes to the center of mass. That also must be given. If it is not passing to center of mass, obviously, then I cannot do that. It is passing to center of mass, and we know that it is coming out. If it is not passing to center of mass, if it is somewhere else, then when I'm closest to the center of mass, there the moment of inertia will come out to be minimum in that case. If it is a line which does not pass to center of mass, then when I will be closest to the center of mass, there the moment of inertia will be that will be minimum moment of inertia. Okay. All right.
Why minimum?
Why
is less
minimum?
mass.
Nice. What?
I equals to IC.
ICM plus m into d square is I.
Yes, sir.
E equals.
How can ICM become greater than I when ICM plus some positive quantity becomes I? ICM is minimum possible among all the possible values of all the moment of inertia.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Okay, sir.
ICM is minimum possible. Any other doubt?
No doubt. Say next one. Continue, sir.
This one you do know. About the center of mass, you have to find here. About center of mass. Why? Because here we don't know what is the location of instantaneous center of rotation. When we don't know the location of instantaneous center of rotation, then I will find about the center of mass. In fact, okay, let us do one more thing here. Okay, no, that is enough. First of all, F into R is what? F into R is equal to R, not R, F into L by 2.
Into L by 2 equals to
F into L by 2 is equal to M into L square by 2 into alpha. I can write this equation about instantaneous axis of rotation also, and I don't know where that is. Let us say instantaneous axis of rotation is at a point P, and P point
That is ml square by problem.
12 ml square by ml square by 12.
Yes, sir.
Let P be instantaneous center of rotation, P point, and we have to locate P also. Let us say this question is asked. Let's find out the value of P. Find out the location of instantaneous center of rotation. Then we know that this equation can be applied about P point also. First of all, why I'm choosing P point here? Why not here? Why not here? I know one thing, that when force is applied this side, then with respect to center of mass, it will start gaining angular acceleration in this direction. So this, if I take a line of force, where's the line of force? This is the line of force. And if I take perpendicular to the line of force, passing through the center of mass, then instantaneous center of rotation must lie somewhere along this line only. I can find instantaneous center of rotation. I told you before, I can find instantaneous center of rotation when velocities are given to us. But when velocities are not given, then this is literally indirect approach. When velocities are not given, then how to find out ICR? When velocities are not given, then ICR can be found by this way, that acceleration of the instantaneous center of rotation will be 0. Then I will use this method. And what is the acceleration of instantaneous center of rotation? Acceleration of instantaneous center of rotation will be A, acceleration of center of mass, plus acceleration of P point with respect to center of mass. That total has to be 0. Let P be the instantaneous center of rotation. Then AC should be equal to minus of APC. But acceleration of any point with respect to center of mass will be equal to R alpha, because there is no omega square R component, and we know it is moving in circular, every particle is moving in a circular path, and there is no centripetal component here. So only tangential component is there. So it will be R alpha. So I can say that magnitude wise, AC will be equal to R alpha, but direction wise, these will be opposite. So that the net comes out to be 0. So in which direction center will gain acceleration? That is very easy to tell, and we can find out acceleration quickly also. Force upon mass will be the acceleration of center of mass. What is the acceleration of P point? I don't know, but I know that if it is d distance from the center of mass, then d alpha acceleration backwards. And we know that we have to add AP, this is APC, acceleration of P with respect to C, plus AC. Plus AC, this total should be 0, or AC magnitude wise should be equal to this d alpha. Here I have taken it as d, so I will take it as d alpha. So I know that P point must lie somewhere along this line only. Along the which line? Along the line which is perpendicular to the line of force and passing through center of mass, which is perpendicular to line of action of force and passing through center of mass. How to find the line of action of force? Do you remember this thing I discussed before, I think last week only, that when there are multiple forces acting, F1 acting, F2 acting, F3 acting, and how to find out the line of action of force? I told you this way we will find out. We will use two equations. Net force should be equal to sigma Fi, one equation, and net torque about center of mass. Net torque about center of mass due to the single force F should be same as due to all these individual forces. So that will be equal to, let us say F into R, and that will also be equal to sigma Fi Ri. Okay, that way we will find out what we will find out from here. R, what is R here? R is equal to sigma Fi Ri divided by F. What is F? Sigma Fi. F was sigma Fi. So what is this R giving us? This R is the distance from the center of mass. R is the distance from the center of mass of the point which is through which the line of action of force passes. Through which the line of action of the force passes means multiple forces can be converted into a single force. Multiple forces can be converted. But again, somebody will think this way now, that from the center of mass, if I have to choose this point, then how can I choose? Because there are many such points possible which are at same distance from the center of mass. R distance here, R here, R here, R here, R here. Which side R? R has to be, now I have to locate, first of all, what is the direction of net force? If net force, by adding all these, here all are in vertical direction only. So here net force will be this side only. Then I have to take R, which is perpendicular distance from the center of mass. There I have to take that force. Okay, so then net force should be acting in that place. But if now somebody says that different forces are acting in different directions, then also net force will be in one particular direction only or not. And once net force we got, and that comes out to be this way, and center of mass is here, then take perpendicular distance, that will be r. And once I know that, then this problem is again converted into this problem, where I know from the center of mass at what distance this F is acting. And then this line of force, let's say I have obtained, center of mass I know, then take the I want to find the d distance on the other side. Of which point? Of the center of the instantaneous center of rotation. Can I find again instantaneous center of rotation? By this method again, we can find out the instantaneous center of rotation. Can we?
Yes, yes, yes.
How to find? First of all, find the net line of force. Net force. First you find the net force, F. Let us say that is F.
And acceleration
Then
of
where
center
that
of mass.
where that force can be supposed to be acting. That force can be acting here or here. I have to check that. At what distance r away from it will be acting. That r distance we will get by balancing the torques. Because net force should apply same torque as all these individually are applying. So net force into net r is equal to torque about center of mass. So r is coming out to be this thing. Is it okay?
Yes, yes.
So main idea is that multiple torques can be converted into a torque due to a single force. Torques due to multiple forces can always be converted into a torque due to single force. That is the main idea. And once we have done that, once we have converted into that problem, then it becomes simple. Then there will be always one force only. Even if there are multiple forces in the beginning, at last there will be just one force for us, because we will convert into one force problem. And after converting into one force problem, then we will do in the same way as I am doing right here. And I will be now interested in finding out the location of center of instantaneous center of rotation, ICR. And if this force would be this side, let us say this force is in this direction. By chance, I have not given in this side, I have given this side. Then this is the perpendicular distance r here. Okay. And from here I will go in the other direction somewhere, where I will choose some point P at a distance d away, where that will be acting as instantaneous center of rotation. This method of finding instantaneous center of rotation I will use only and only when there is no way to find out using velocities. And here no way to find using velocities, because it was just initially at rest. So whenever it is initially at rest, then I will use this method to find out the ICR. Is it okay? Is it okay? How to find out ICR? Don't worry, just keep on learning the concepts. Don't worry about this problem. This problem I will take myself only, so don't worry about it. But I'm telling you that we can find out ICR. Now you may be thinking, why this much big story about ICR? What is the advantage of that? Advantage is that I can apply the torque equation either about center of mass, or I can apply about ICR. So about ICR means, what is the distance of ICR from the F in this particular example? D
L by
plus
2 plus
L.
D.
Plus L by
So I can write
D plus
F into L by 2 plus D is equal to moment of inertia will be, moment of inertia will become ICM. Wait a second. I want to do in general. I don't want to do for this case. I want to do in general, whatever the case may be. Then I don't want to take it as L2 L by 2 also. I want to take it something else. Okay, why don't we do it completely in general, so that it is applicable always, and you will be so much helpful. After that, it will be so much helpful. You will use it in many places. Otherwise, you will use it only in this place. Let us take R1, R2. R1 is the distance of the line of action of force, and R2 is the distance of the point P at which is the ICR. Okay. So what is R1 here? R1 is the, let me define these terms first of all. What is R1, what is R2, etc. Those things. Then after that, I will tell you how to do. R1 is perpendicular distance of line of action of force, from center of mass. And what is R2? R2 is perpendicular distance of P or IC or instantaneous center of rotation. From what? From center of mass. And it will be in which side? In the other side. In other side, obviously. If R1 is one side, it will be in the other side always. How do I know it will be in the other side? Then only R2 alpha can cancel AC. These have to be cancelled, and that acceleration has to be 0. Their acceleration is 0. Are you remembering these things also? Net acceleration will be 0 in that place, no? So if net acceleration is 0, then these things should cancel each other. So perpendicular distance of point P from center of mass in other side. Okay, other side means line of action of force is one side, and that is the other side. But it is in both of these are in the same straight line only. Okay, is it understood now? Up to this, and why? What is this ICR? First of all, ICR is that point for which acceleration at that moment is 0. That is ICR, for which the acceleration at that moment is 0. Is it okay?
Sir.
Yes, sir.
That point may be on the body, that point may be outside the body. If it is outside the body, then you may think that how can I apply the torque about outside body? But as I told you, if it is ICR means at this instant, this whole body will appear to be rotating about this point. And if at this instant it is appearing to be rotating about this point, then I can apply about that point, no problem in that. Now let us apply. Let us do that. What should I do now? I will write it as F. Okay, first of all, about center mass. I will write two equations. Tau CM is equal to ICM alpha, one equation, and tau P is equal to IP alpha, another equation. Both of these are very, very useful equations. First equation, F into R1 is equal to ICM into alpha, and second equation about P point. About P point, it will be, I think, F into R2. It's not R2, R2 plus R1.
Into R2,
sorry.
Sir.
F into R1 plus R2 is the net torque about P point is equal to ICM plus, what is the distance? M into
T square. MR2 square.
M into R2 square is right, plus M into R2 square into alpha. But wait, I can write it as M into K square, radius of gyration square. If
Yes,
K is
sir.
the radius of gyration about, where K is the radius of gyration about center mass. This is the radius of gyration about center mass, not about any other point, only about center mass. So if you want, you can call it K about center mass, means radius of gyration about center mass, right? Now, what do we get then? I think I can write it as M into K CM square plus R2 square into alpha, and that is F into R1 plus R2. Second equation and first equation. If I do one thing, if I divide these F R1 and there it is M into K CM square into alpha, what do I get if I divide number 1 and number 2? 2 divided by 1. 2 divided by 1, I will be getting F and F cancelled. I will be getting R1 plus R2 by R1 is equal to K CM square plus R2 square upon K CM square. And what do I get from here? I will be getting something very, very interesting and important and useful. Very, very useful.
Square into R2.
1 R2
1 plus
square, sir.
R2 square by KCM square. Then that will become what? 1 cancelled. R2 by R1 is equal to
R2 also cancelled, sir. 1 R2.
1 R2 also cancelled. Right, you are right only. Then we'll get last.
Equals R1 R2 equals to
KCM square equals to R1 R2.
R2 equals to KCM square.
Oh, what a wonderful formula. KCM is geometric mean of R1 R2. Is it not wonderful?
Yes, sir.
No, not just because it is so much. I'm not interested in just writing geometric means. Okay, so don't think that it is just because of my interest in geometric mean I wanted to write it in this way. It is such a convenient formula, and it is not found in any of the books. So that's why it is unique. You will be just I am only telling you. You will not find it in any other place, and it is such a convenient formula. This formula, even if you find out, you will not know its applications the way I will be applying it. I will be applying it in several places, not in one place, several places. Now only I will start applying it today only. Now only. Let us start applying it for this particular above question. So this work was done, and it was lengthy work. But now it is done for once, and it is applicable always now. I don't have to do it every time now. Now what I will be doing, whenever I want to find out instantaneous center of rotation, I will just write R1 into R2 equal to K square, and K already everybody knows. For this particular case, what is K square? KCM square. For this particular square, KCM square is nothing but L square by 12.
L square by 12.
So let us do that. Let us do that here. Here it is L square by 12, and this side it is L by 2 into R2 under the root. Then I think I can yes, under the root.
Square
No,
is
not under the root. No, sorry. That is square. Let us take square only. Square will be L square by 12, and that will be equal to L by 2 into R2. Then R2 is equal to L by 6.
Yes, sir.
R2 is equal to L by 6. So from here, at a distance L by 6 this side, there will be one point about which this body will appear to be at rotating. If it is appearing to be rotating about that point, then what equations I have for this now? Let us write that equation. It is such a simple equation now. Wait a second. I will make a space here, and I will get the answer here only. I just want to tell you that how easy is it to get the answer this way. I will make some space here, and in this little place I will get the answer. See how. I will be writing now. F into L by 2 is equal to ML square by 12 into alpha. One equation. Second equation about what?
Yes.
Sorry.
Equals to alpha.
Into alpha. Sorry. Into alpha. Next, second equation. Second equation is for the what I wanted to find out now. Main aim was to find out alpha, it seems, right? and we need two equations of f and alpha in order to get alpha. So another equation, although I have other equations also here. For example, I have one equation f.
Sir, here we got no, sir.
Right now, sir, 6f by m equals to alpha.
Yes, sir.
What?
Alpha equal to 6f by
F by mn.
ml. sir.
Right. Yes, right. We can write it that way. And then one other equation I want to write, that is about the instantaneous center of rotation, which is becoming f into L by 2 plus L by 6. That is equal to 2 L by 3, I think. Is equal to
12 by 3.
ml square by... No, why? Wait a second. Sorry. I wanted to avoid that because I already know R2 now. R2 is L by 6, so I don't need that thing also. I'm getting answer quickly. Now, if I know L by 6, then wait a second, I don't need this also. Sorry. What am I doing? I'm not making use of my potential here completely. I will use its potential now. See, it is L by 6. I know already AC is this, and AC is equal to also R2 into alpha. And R2 is equal to L by 6 into alpha. So we are getting alpha is equal to
6f by L.
We are getting alpha is equal to 6f by ml quickly. Just by which equation? By this equation only. Acceleration of center we know already, it is f by m, and we know it is at a distance r2 from here. So it is just, see, r so quickly without even applying torque equation. Have I applied torque equation here?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Directly we are getting us. So see how convenient it becomes if I know that this is the center of rotation, then about this point the whole body appears to be rotating, then it is at a distance r2, its acceleration is r2 alpha, and r2 alpha is equal to f by m. One step and answer. And you will not find this method anywhere else. Okay. And I will use it in some other places also. I will show you where else I will get it. Okay. But as of now, you just satisfied with this only. And other examples. Which was the third example? Third example is this one. How to do this? You remember I have taken this example in before while I was taking equilibrium cases. In
Yes,
equilibrium
sir.
cases, I took this example that I can take some element here. I can take some element.
Yes, sir. Friction between
And
the
yes, and for that I will take the, what is it happening here really? Okay, and for that I will be taking this element, and about on this element what is the torque I can find out. Then I can find out the net torque. Net torque upon moment of inertia about center of mass. Net torque about center of mass upon moment of inertia about center of mass will be equal to I alpha. Alpha will be equal to alpha. Torque about center mass will be equal to, how to apply the torque? Now torque equation is mu into, this is dm mass, let us say. Dm mass will be, it is at a distance small r, divided by m r square by 2. What is numerator here? Numerator is mu into dm. Can be written as sigma into 2 pi r into dr into g into r, limits 0 to capital R, divided by mr square by 2. Can you get alpha from here? I'm not saying that you keep on carrying this numerator, this denominator unnecessarily. Find torque separately, and then at last we add it. Find torque separately here. Torque about center mass. Mu into 2 pi into g into r cube by 3. R cube by 3. What is that at last? That is equal to mu into 2 pi g into sigma was left out. Sigma is mass per unit area, m upon pi r square. Right? You know sigma is mass density. I have used it several times. Then it is now becoming at last pi cancelled already. No need to write pi. 2 comes, 3 also is there. M is also there. G is also there, and R is also there. Then alpha will be equal to Cm upon M into R square by 2, which is 4 by 3 into G by R. That is alpha. After knowing alpha, what next? Where is alpha? Okay, alpha obtained. Then okay, angular velocity was given omega. Not then time taken. Simple now. It is just uniformly angular acceleration.
0, we need to keep.
Final omega is equal to 0. Initial
Phi is
omega
equal
is
to
omega
omega
naught.
naught is, sir.
Yes, so we can write omega naught divided by alpha is equal to time. Getting answer. This is the time at which it will stop.
Stop.
Obtained. Another example we can take now of spool.
Sir, once
Moment
can
of
I
inertia
go?
of the yes, I can go with it. Moment of inertia of the spool. I will go, but by that time, let me engage others also. No, they will be otherwise
Okay.
wasting time. I will be giving this question. After that, I can listen to you what you want to ask. This is the inclined plane here. What is happening really? Moment of inertia about the center of the spool is IO, and radius of inner one is A, outer one is B, and frictionless surface is given, and mass of this is given as M. Find tension, and also that's it. I think tension. If you are able to find tension, then before that you have to find out all those things starting from alpha. Whether they ask tension, see in torque in the rotational mechanics chapter, I'm giving you a very simple trick. Always it will help you. Whatever they ask, forces they are asking or anything they are asking, start with the torque. Listen, start with torque. Go to alpha, then go to acceleration, and then go to forces. Always use this method. If they are asking angular velocity, etc., then use, if possible, wherever conservation of mechanical energy is applicable, there you use that. If it is not there, then from alpha we can obtain angular velocity also. If mechanical energy is conserved, then we don't follow torque equal to alpha, then we directly do by mechanical energy conservation. Okay, but where mechanical energy is not conserved, then we may have to do by this method, by alpha only. Anyway, find this one, and now you tell me where you want me to go up. Remaining, you can take snapshot of this. Remaining students can take snapshot of this so that they can start attempting it. You can take a snapshot. Yes, you ask now. Hafiz.
I want to take snapshot that this question.
This question
Disk
is where is the
rotating.
disk question? This is the disk rotating. But sometimes snapshot snaps will not be helpful that much, because I will explain many things here. So if you just take this snapshot only, then you will not. But okay, you have always that choice to refer the video also. Yes, it is good only, no problem.
Sir, I did not take, sir.
Why did you not take? What were you doing? How much time it takes for snapshot? In that much time, some students will write down.
Sir, took, sir.
Okay, fine.
Took, sir.
Right. And I am noticing, see, for example, what is the use of taking snapshot? Here time I did not see. That's why I'm saying snapshot will not be that much convenient. I wrote this time before, but now it went missing suddenly. Omega naught by alpha it is. Sorry, what am I doing again? Omega is 0. Final omega is 0. Then this is equal to omega naught by alpha. That was also there. Okay. Next. Find it out now. Do it yourself, and then let me take some other questions by that time. All the surfaces are frictionless, as there is no energy lost. Also find omega. Find omega, angular velocity omega, and also find tension T. These two things you have to find out. So you have to go by that method to find forces. by this method, I recommend. And to find omega, you have to go by another method. If there is no losses anywhere, then you have to find out by conservation of mechanical energy. So omega I have to find out, or here I can find by alpha also. Alpha into T will be omega. Depends now. If they are asking find omega when the spool falls to an height. Let me ask in this way. Find T first of all. Next is find omega as spool falls. Its center of mass is, by the way, at the geometric center. When spool falls through height h. That is the second question. Number one. Number two. Did you get something? Hello? You have to tell me if you already obtained the answer. Which one have you got? This one you got, spool?
Full tension we got.
क्लास खत्म होगी
I don't know. Getting answer? That much time is not required, and moreover, I'm giving you hints and all the things. This is a very important tip which I have written here for you.
Sir, I got
This upper
location.
one also. What?
I got, sir, but I right or wrong, I don't know.
Okay, no. When you get, then you tell me. Then after that, I will explain. No, right or wrong. Obviously, you cannot tell quickly. You may be committing some mistakes. Sometimes it is possible, or otherwise also maybe some conceptual difficulties. Maybe they may not be understanding the things. This is the instantaneous center of rotation. Did you find it or not?
Yes, sir.
Because this point is attached to this and it is at rest. In this whole body, this point is at rest at this moment. Once we are able to look at the point at rest, then we are able to find out the instantaneous center of rotation. So there are, see how many ways I have told you to find ICR. One way by locating the point where acceleration is 0. One way by locating the point where radial lines are meeting. And another simple way where neither radial lines nor this, but simply it is a point which is along the line, along some point which is at rest already. If this point is at rest, then it is obviously ICR only. Once we have obtained that ICR, then we can now start writing equation about this point for the torque, or about which torque due to normal. Torque due to normal will be 0. Normal passing through this will be 0 torque, right? Torque due to mg cos theta will be 0. Only torque will be existing due to mg sin theta. Torque is only due to mg sin theta. Correct or not?
Yes, sir.
Say.
Yes, sir.
Torque is only due.
Yes, sir.
Torque is. Then what is the torque formula? Torque formula for this case? What is
Sin
it?
theta into
Yes.
B minus C.
Mg sin theta into
B minus C.
B minus C. About point P.
B minus A. Right. Then we can write mg sin theta into A only.
Sir, into A1. Sir, A only, sir.
Why B minus A? I don't understand. What is this boy saying? Shiva, what happened?
Shiva not, sir,
Into
that
A.
one, another boy.
Another boy was there. Okay. Mg sin theta into A it is. Mg sin theta into A, because see, the line of force is, this is the line of force and this is the perpendicular distance from the point of rotation. So mg sin theta into A only, nothing else. Okay. After knowing it, then next, this is equal to any other torque. That only t due to t also 0. See, so easy it is. Just in one step only, I naught into alpha. Alpha is easily obtained. That's why it is easy to obtain about ICRs. I am applying equation sigma top A equal to IP into alpha. P I will be, it is my notation only. Nobody else will call that way. When I will be calling two things, O and C I will be using for the center of mass mostly, but P I will be using for instantaneous center of rotation. Okay, mostly it is my own convention. I will be doing that only, so that I don't have to say in front of my students every time that when I'm writing top P, they quickly understand. It means I'm taking about instantaneous center of rotation. But yes, sometimes if I specify some other point as P, then you understand that it is that point obviously. But here P is also instantaneous center of rotation. So what is it now? This will become alpha will become mg sine theta divided by I naught. A acceleration is equal to R alpha. R alpha means acceleration A. Here I have given A only side also, so it is A alpha, means it will become mg sine theta upon I naught into A. That is acceleration A. Okay. Or I'm just writing it as acceleration A.
Sir, yes.
Acceleration is equal. Already one A was there.
Yes, sir.
A square.
Yes.
A square. Then next we are getting force equation now. Force equation sigma F is equal to mass into acceleration along the incline. That will become mg sine theta downwards minus t upwards is equal to mass into acceleration downwards. Acceleration is, I did mistake by giving A as the side radius. That is confusing with acceleration. A is not acceleration here, so I have not used any symbol for acceleration. I'm just writing A only.
We can take C no sir, radius, small c.
Radius we can, but I have to make changes in many places, so I'm not doing that now. Rather than that, I will prefer to take acceleration something else. But I think of something else also. We can choose acceleration, not necessarily capital A. Maybe acceleration is capital A. So mass into capital A we can take. So then it is okay, no problem now. Okay, just this I have to change.
Sir, I naught is equals to moment of inertia at center of mass method.
Yes.
There
Obviously.
moment of inertia we need to add no sir. Yes, sir.
Oh yes. Yes. Sorry, I have to take IP then. I have to, here I wrote IP, but after that I converted it into I naught. I don't know why. IP it is, and IP will be equal to I naught plus M into A square.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Right. So we are getting T now. T is equal to those who got this, they got it right already, and it means they are understanding the things well. Mg sin theta minus
Square GS.
G sin theta A square by
G sin theta into A square divided by IP. Those who got this, they already got same right answer. Did you get right answer now? Tell me.
Same, sir.
Very good. What about for this question? Did you get right or not? About which point you will prefer to take the torque equation first of all? Normal is passing through this point here. Normal is passing through this point.
Then take center of mass, sir.
We can take a center of mass, but then n will be unknown. There will be two unknowns. How many unknowns will come?
At edge.
Two unknowns. I have a way to avoid those. Again, I will take the same way. I will find out ICR.
Sir, at edge.
How will I find out ICR? I have
joining the line.
This line of force.
Yes.
Line of force. From line of force, take a perpendicular to the center of mass and then produce other side. R1, R2 other side. R1 into R2. R1 into R2 is equal to L square by 12. KCM square, right? From that side, somewhere it will be. And once I know that, the things become so easy that you can imagine we can find very easily after that. Okay.
We'll try this.
So do it yourself, and tomorrow we can discuss then. Time is over otherwise also today. Yes.
Okay,
Sir, one friction is there. We can take axis.
In fact, no, do one thing. It will not be useful if you do just one way only. First of all, there are two cases, but I don't want you to stop here. I want you to do these two cases by taking torque first about center mass and forget, as if don't even use word instantaneous center of rotation. You don't know anything about instantaneous center of rotation. And I want you to do about C point only. By taking about C point, next time you take about A point, just A and C. B is unusual. We can take about B also, but it is, why should I take? Because about A is convenient, still somewhat convenient. Why? Because about A, the normal passes away. Normal passes away, so torque due to normal becomes 0. But remember one thing, if I am taking the torque about point A, then point A must be on the body, not on the ground, because about ground it is not rotating, it is not instantaneous center of rotation. I cannot take about ground, I have to take about A. But if I take the point on A itself, on the body itself, then unfortunately this point A has acceleration. If it has acceleration, then I will have to apply pseudo force. So if this point has acceleration, something acceleration A this side, then I have to take pseudo torque also MA. So that pseudo torque we have to take in this case. But
Sir, if
all
you
these
say
methods.
Sufficient friction, then no need to apply pseudo force.
If there's sufficient friction, then it will not rotate. Then obviously no need to apply pseudo force. Then it will be very easy to take about A. Then I will not even. Then that is the instantaneous center of rotation.
Yes, sir.
Then that itself is the instantaneous center of rotation.
Yes, sir. Zero acceleration.
Then itself is the fixed axis of rotation. Once we already know what is the fixed axis of rotation, then that is convenient only, obviously. Okay. Then that is enough for us. That is itself acting as instantaneous center of rotation. So now try to do by these 3 ways, and tomorrow I will discuss all these 3 methods, right?
Okay,
One
sir.
sufficient friction case is easier first. So you do first for the sufficient friction case. For sufficient friction case, I recommend you to do by 2 ways. Only by 2 ways. About point A, we can take, and we can take about C. And we cannot take about any other point. Other points will not be acting as instantaneous center of rotation when the friction is sufficient. And this point A itself is the ICR as well as the fixed axis of rotation also. A is the point. About frictionless, if I want to take, then I will take about center of mass once, and I will take about A point also. And I can take about some other point, which is somewhere else, which is here somewhere, this P point. And I can take about P point. I will try to do by these 3 methods. So how many questions there are now for you? CAP and AC. 5 questions. These are 5 questions you have to do. And answer every time for angular acceleration must be same. And if you are able to do that, then you have become master of this. But if you are not able to do it, this can be tough also. So don't worry. Tomorrow I will take these 5 cases. Today you can do some other questions of simple tau equal to alpha cases. Okay, no need to worry about
Okay,
if you are not able to do.
We can do.
But
Sir,
at
doubt.
least, but at least second you definitely do. This I expect you to definitely do. Which one? Sufficient friction case. That you must do.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Sir, doubt.
Now you ask. Ask.
Previous question. Doubt.
Yes, ask it.
Sir, if we take instantaneous axis of rotation as the center of mass, sir.
If we take instantaneous axis of rotation as center, what we mean if we take? What is the definition of center of rotation?
If we
That
take
acceleration is
torque
0.
about, center of mass.
Yes, say that. Don't say if we take. Okay, if we take torque about center of mass, right? Then
Directly only tension will act, no, sir. Only the tension will be the torque, no, sir.
yes, right.
Then directly we're getting torque tension.
Yes, we are getting torque, but we are getting. How are you getting? See, I am getting alpha. You get that way. How are you getting? You are getting torque. T into A. T into A is equal to I naught into alpha. But again, T unknown, alpha unknown. 2 unknowns in the same equation.
Yes, sir.
2 unknowns in the same equation. How are you getting answer from that?
Sir, after
I'm not
that,
saying that that is wrong. After that, yes. After that, so 2
that's what
equations.
equals to MA.
See, the point is not that you are doing something wrong. That's why I said that we can take about A point, we can take about B point, and we can still get the answers. But there are certain methods which are convenient, and which are the best ones. So the best ones are the ones for which we have to use the least possible effort. So among 2 equations, from 2 equations, if I have to choose 1 equation, then I will prefer the method of 1 equation. That is my strategy. I will do that way only. I will not go for, although if you think that way, and it is also telling me one more thing. Somehow you are finding it difficult to digest something called as ICR. So you are trying to bypass it. That by center mass also I will do, and I will do. Yes, if you want to bypass, it is okay. But the thing is, then you will never be learning that method also. So don't try to bypass it. Okay. Try to go through it, try to understand it properly, and try to use it. Then only you will be able to use it in the examination. Otherwise, if you keep on bypassing, then always you will be just having one method only. And there are many students who have just that method only. In fact, not many students. I think 90% of the students will be like that only, because so many will not be even telling this method in the classes which I am telling you. So most of the students will be just relying on this method, and they will be, from that also it will be enough. If you are just doing that only and developing confidence on that, that is also not bad. But still, I will still say that by that somehow somewhere you will be lacking. Means there is one tool which you are not having. There is one tool which you can use, but you are not having it because you are not mastering that tool. So don't do that. Why should we do that, right? Okay. Right. But your method is okay. I'm not saying it is wrong. That is correct only. mg sin theta minus t is equal to ma. One equation and another equation, as you said before. No, we need, I think 2 will also not be sufficient then. Then I need third equation also, a equal to r also. Then we need 3 equations for that. So out of 3 equations, if I'm just giving a method by 1 equation, then obviously that is best possible only. Okay. Therefore, this tip you are not following. See, I wrote here tip with red color also, and then also you are not following it. This is a big advice for you, and it is very much helpful. Imagine if I'm able to give you one method which is reducing 3 equations to 1 equation. Don't you think it is reducing your effort? Okay. Fine then. Okay then. Bye.
Okay,
Sir,
sir.
can you post yesterday's class in YouTube, sir?
Bye,
Today I will post it after some time.
Okay,
Okay.
sir.